Here we go. That's right. So I take a B12 supplement, and it's methylcobalamin. Well, sorry, I should say it contains the methylated form of the cobalamin molecule, which is the name of B12, so forth and so on. Again, I'm Imchitaman, I'm no scientist. I'm just here to ramble and bamble and give you some information about my health. As things has changed to a positive state over the last 3 months after having APR. Um, for those who know what APR is, and I'm dealing with what I was dealing with, you could always hit me on my email to find out more. However, what I've learned is looking at my blood tests, my blood work, so forth and so on. The anemia was shouting at me in the face, um, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, and I did not recognize it even from the blood test. Was not, told by the doctors that your blood work is showing anemic. However, after certain experiences, you get a little hint, a little clue, you learn some more information, and then you move up to the line. I'm trying to see if my live is actually running here, and I can't even get it on my tablet. So funny these things work these days. And so I have been doing a lot of research in my at home time, sick leave, and being away from work. But I think it's very useful me, giving me given the opportunity that is coming on, or has come on, has manifested itself in this world with technology, information, and all this is happening through the good use of artificial intelligence, bringing our collapsing information in a more concise way so that we would be able to get what we want faster, quicker, better, you know, um, than having to search the Googles and all these other stuff just to be able to get to learn some information about what's happening. I need to check my right. I just need to know that my live is running well, and that's all I need to know. Now, I like to start to say my biomagnets. It helps me detoxify, helps the lymphatic system to move, especially at the gathering point here on the sternum. I, the tapping is good. You could do the tapping and rubbing on the sternum. There's a chain of command for doing this too. The big six, you could look up the big six. The guy is very much there with this on the internet. But I wear my biomagnets to help me detoxify. And back to my discussion on B12. So the chain of command. This is a discussion on B12. Why I take B12 supplements or B12, and which ones that I take. Generally, which ones I take that is coming from the great Amazon, because that's where I get my stuff. I research and then go to Amazon. Largely, you over a period of time, you you get hooked on Amazon really and truly. Anytime you think about it, you get hooked because the facility of the payments, the at least the confidence in the shipping, and all these things in Amazon seems to play out very well. So it's prefer to buy it on Amazon where as compared to buying it from somebody's site. So my I'll start with my um, current supplement. I have a supplement bioactive. I should get my screen up. Bioactive B12. I don't know how to get my screen up, but I'm gonna work to get my screen up. So bioactive B12. I wonder if this could show. I would have to get my screen up and be able to dual screen. But the bioactive B12 that I use is from Tricete, Tricete. This bioactive B12 supplement has 5,000. Contains the methyl folate. Well, it contains methyl folate also as a cofactor, which is methylated B9. It has methylated B12. That's what the main idea it is in full spectrum format. It also contains the adenosyl cobalamin, which is adenosyl B12, and the hydroxyl B12, which is the so that's the three forms, or the three body available forms of B12. Now, why have I gone to ensure that this is what I get at this point in time? Because cyanocobalamin is well known to be the format of B12 that has been synthetically developed for treating neurological and B12 deficiencies throughout. Specifically on the UK side, we know about the cyanocobalamin. Now, if you would study anything like the drinks, the energy drinks, the red one with the bull and the one these guys do tell you that they have a high dose of, or they have vitamin B's. And if you check the website, you would notice they have the vitamin B's, which includes B12. And you have to ask, I can't tell you offhand that they use cyanocobalamin, but I could assume that's the type of B12 that they may more than likely put into their drinks, largely because cyanocobalamin is very stable to light and to on the shelf and other chemicals. It has a cyanide molecule tied to the cobalamin. Now, when that goes to the body, it goes into the liver, would break out the cyano and give you back the cobalamin. Now, it is. I don't know how. I don't want to use it. I have, because most of my iron tablets I try to get B12 iron, B12, B9, and iron tablet in the same mix. If I get B6, that's also a blessing. So if you look at those kind of supplements, you would see cyanocobalamin, which is B and B12. You may see folic acid, which is B9. The synthetic form is called folic acid. And then you may see B6. You may see also some other type. Niacin might be there as in the format of niacinamide. And then you see iron. So a good iron supplement would be more than folic acid or folate and iron. Folate is good for blood. Iron is the carrier. Iron goes into the hem to become the carrier of the oxygen and the nutrients in the red blood cell. But you need B12 for the synthesis of blood, and you could check this out online. Check this out, get a research paper and verify. Again, I'm open to correction, but from what I have researched, I am seeing this there. Now, the cyanocobalamin form of B12, as we know, it's what is most popular. It is the synthetic form that man has made, and gratefully so. Gratefully so. It is carried to the liver to break out the cyanide molecule, and the liver deals with that by dealing with it however it deals with it, and sends, well, detoxify, we usually say, and then send it to the kidney to be urinated. So in those cases, you want to make sure that you have enough hydration taking place, both with your at the intracellular and the generic level, or the general level. You drink your water, and you also ensure you have enough fruits when you are on those things, because fruits are quite the better way to hydrate the at the cellular level. Fruits, watermelons, and the melon type family, the cucumbers, and fruits, generally goes to the cellular level to hydrate, as compared to H2O, which hydrates, of course, the body itself. Um, we know that cyanocobalamin could have a little risky effect based on persons who are intaking a lot of the cyanocobalamin. And you may be intaking cyanocobalamin without knowing it, because, as I said, you might be drinking a little energy drink, a Red Bull or a Monster or other types, and they too also contain vitamin B12, which more than likely could be cyanocobalamin. So you might be intaking a lot of that. And the reason why I do that, because when you have a B12 deficiency, or when you have B12 issues, you start becoming a little lethargic and energy deprived. So you reach for that thing that could kick you up a bit. And in today's world, of course, what kicks us up a bit gives us wings to fly. That's what we do. So we jump to that, and of course, we might be taking more B12 from the cyano than the amount from our conscious taking of a supplement in our kitchen and in our bathrooms and wherever you have your supplements. So you could be taking a lot more than you actually consciously realize, because of different locations of these things. For example, you might buy a B12 supplement, and you're taking a B12 supplement, it has cyanocobalamin, so cyano B12, and you might be taking one or twice, drinking one or twice during the week. You might boost yourself up to build your energy when you are feeling down with a energy drink which might have some of the same substance in it. And then you may also be taking an iron pill or iron tablet, and if you are not too careful in reading the label, you may be overlooking that that's another source of the same cyanocobalamin. So these three areas could actualize if you are not being really consciously aware of what you're doing when it comes to supplementing and using energy drinks. And there might be other forms. Of course, you might be getting your B12 itself, which is not an issue, from other sources like your meats, your liver, your plant sources, maybe nutritional yeast, wherever else you get your B12, because B12 is made by bacteria anyhow. Even from your water, you should be getting your B12. If you drink pure dirty water, well, pure untreated water, the one that they call dirty, without chlorine, you might be getting some B12 there, because the bacteria used to be there. That's one of the more prevalent sources of B12 in countries where water sources are not treated with chlorine and fluoride and stuff like that. Now, the next point is, I would avoid cyanocobalamin because of what I just stated, in terms of there could be multiple places. And second, I generally, if you don't have consistent checks on your liver and your kidneys, you don't know how these things are working. And most of us living in the third world countries, we don't run to a GP just to get a blood work, to check out liver and kidneys. And even though you want to do that, sometimes it becomes difficult. You're asking, and it's like always difficult. You have to really have a GP that you work with and understand where you are going in terms of health, and have him direct you. And this is also a such in my consistent work of consistent evolution of development and discovery. So you have to be conscious and consciously aware of what you're doing at these levels when you're supplementing, not just with B12 but supplementing totally. You need to start learning more, and that's why I am emphasizing the whole AI, the technology, the transformation of the age with information, age of awareness, age of the Aquarian age, has brought about the opportunity that you sit and say to yourself, let me use the AI to enhance what I am doing and to understand what I'm doing in a much more microscopic way, understanding what is considered to be how things are working, as compared to traditionally just accepting what you are told without a rationale. So we have that opportunity now. So back to the B12 and the supplement that I'm using. So I'm using, as I mentioned, one of those things that I have of Amazon for now. And why am I using it again? That's the reason that I gave, because I want to have the three sources of B12, right? That's the first thing. I want to have the three sources of B12. And the reason why I want to have the three sources is based upon a simple idea of, the three sources has three different pathways, or they could have different pathways in terms of how they work. And that's what I would like to detail in the chat GPT. Trying to get chat GPT up, right? So let's get chat GPT on the screen. So you have cyanocobalamin, which of course when it is used in the body, it goes and becomes methylcobalamin, right? So methylated cobalamin. Then you have hydroxycobalamin. What does hydroxycobalamin? Yes, I made a mistake. Yes, hydroxycobalamin. How does hydroxycobalamin metabolize or break down? Is another question. And then you have the adenosine cobalamin, bioactive B12. You have the adenosine cobalamin, and that's a third one. So you may want to investigate why why or what are the benefits of having three of them. In summary, what I found is that it's important to have the tree, because let me see if I could get myself up here. Right, I'm in Grenada, so let me just see if I could get this message off the screen. That's not what is important here. It's not right. This is what is important here. So what's important here is what you're seeing. Wow, this thing is this thing is the cofactor is of course benign. So methylfolate, which is benign, the methyl B12, methylated B12, which goes, it's bioavailable, meaning it goes directly into the blood and start working from there. So it doesn't have to go through the whole digestive system to get absorbed. And the papers are showing now that if you get those that are under your tongue or chewables, they might be actualizing themselves from the mouth into the bloodstream. I have seen studies on that. I have not, you know, I should have a paper to discuss this in my next presentation. But the adenosine and the hydroxy, they all get involved in the mix here. And if you look at what's happening, the screen that is showing here doesn't show up properly. Let me see if I could get it to show up better. I want it to show up better. And I don't know why it's refresh at the current page. Right. So what I want to show you here is the whole idea, the idea here of metabolism of these three factors supports brain, supports energy, and let me see if I could scroll on the page so you could see, and it supports mood, which is more neurological type functions. So if you look down on this here, they're claiming, and again the claim more than likely is based on research, that methylated cobalamin or methylcobalamin or methyl B12 is the form needed to raise overall B12 status level across the body, because B12 is quite an important cofactor, and in some cases maybe B12 might be the key cofactor in the methylation process. We don't know yet. We don't know yet, but it is. We know for sure that B12 is very necessary in methylation, and methylation is running throughout the body consistently. And in my case, I believe that once you are stressed, methylation is kicked into a higher grade, meaning that you may need more B12 than you actually needed in 10 or 20 years ago. But so the methylated cobalamin and the methylated B12 is prevalent for you across the body. Generally, you need the methylated cobalamin. It's just needed for carrying out so many essential functions. Right? Now, you can't take this here without understanding how amino acids work too, because everything is protein. Everything is amino acids. Amino acids build protein in the body. So it's very critical to understand B12 and amino acid in the same conversation, which we would have in the next conversation. The adenosylcobalamin is for cellular energy. So if you look at the box here, they try to point energy with the adenosylcobalamin, right? So that format, which is also a bioavailable format, it helps the mitochondria burn food more efficiently for better energy production and metabolism. Again, this is useful for me because I've always been asking, why is my metabolism so slow? Why is my digestion so slow? Why is my energy levels on the cheapy side of life? And so this could be useful for me, the adenosylcobalamin, because it's that format of B12 that drives the production factory in the mitochondria of our cells. So while methylated cobalamin goes and works across the body, and when you read up about methylated cobalamin, methylation or methylated cobalamin, if you study methylation and methyl B12, you know you would pick up that at the essential function level, you'll pick up summary statements like B12, vitamin B12 is necessary for red blood cells formation, red blood cells maturation, for neurological function, for DNA synthesis, for homocysteine metabolism. Very important topic in this day and age. Homocysteine synthesis or metabolism, or I call it the homocysteine cycle, from breaking down homocysteine back into a usable amino acid called methionine. Then for energy production, for mood regulation, and supporting of the methylation process. All these are 7 summary functions of methyl B12, B12, sorry. And so the methyl B12 supports across the board. But when you look at energy production, the metabolism of fats, the metabolism of proteins, and the production of energy, we are speaking specifically about the adenosyl type format of B12. The format B12 there is more, it is more useful to have adenosine cobalamin. And then the third one we have here is the hydroxycobalamin. And now it's the storage form, the storage format of B12. Now, research says that the B12 stores in the liver for 3 to 6 years, you know, which is good, which is good, 3 to 6 years. But in today's toxic environment, these things need a revision, because I would tell you, 3 to 6 years, 3 to 6 years, right? When you were living your life, normally you did not have the levels of stress that you have in 2023. If you get where I'm coming from, in 2023 you have a whole lot of stress. After, A and B and C and D, you have lots and lots more stress in your life. So what is happening, or what has been happening, the more stress you have, or the more stress you are acquiring in your life, it is the more that you would have the depletion of B12, vitamin B12, in your body. And why is this happening? Simply put, it's happening because B12 is important in the whole neurological processes and in the methylation processes. As with other vitamins, don't fool yourself with other vitamins, but B12 seems to be playing a critical role in the whole methylation cycle and neurological cycles, and so forth and so on. So when you look at this whole picture of B12, let me see if I could get the screen to show up better now, to show you the, refresh that page. I don't see the, okay, I wanted to show you that part of the page here. Hopefully you are seeing it now. It's not showing up. It's not showing up. Anyhow I look at it, it's not showing up the way I want it to show up. But nevertheless, we are now in a state where we have to do things to meet the times, to overcome the challenges of life. I know persons would like to avoid, and it's good if you could avoid but not every day you could actually avoid. Sometimes you cannot avoid. So you have to understand avoidance is one way of managing the risk, which is good. I must say it's good. It's one of the ways to de-risk. It's good. And as a risk, I always speak about risk because I think risk is the major issue here. We need to de-risk at all levels. We need to get rid of risk and stuff like that. But you could avoid, and then there is also that which you cannot avoid, which is what we are discussing today. When you cannot avoid, then you need to come to the point of reconciliation and say to yourself, hey, I cannot avoid, so